course I'd heard of Stephen King. In fact, I had read The Dead Zone, which was unusual because I didn't really read Stephen King's books, but I happened to read that, so that made it kind of seem like kismet.
Can teachers be expelled for kissing in the hallway?
They get fired.
Thank God it's Friday.
I had known him actually because I went to school with his brother when Chris was still called Ronnie Walken, and we knew his family, and they were bakers, and they were always the people that made birthday cakes at our parties. So I had met Chris and but anyway, I did this play with him, and it was The Philanderer by George Bernard Shaw, very classical English, very funny. He was wonderful. But what was strange about him as an actor was that, not that I noticed it when I was rehearsing with him, but he loved to really direct things directly to the audience. He loved to break the fourth wall and talk to them. He was, seeing him on stage and being on stage with him, they both were fantastic, were very different experiences. I never noticed it when I watched him on stage, that I just thought he was always the most riveting person on the stage. Just everything he did seemed so interesting and brilliant and different. But then when I worked with him and realized that he was delivering it a lot to the audience, I was surprised because I had never noticed that. The director didn't like it. He came back and said, "Chris, come on, put up a fourth wall." And Chris said, "Fourth wall?" And he said, "You know what I mean." And he said, "Look, I know they're there. They know I know they're there." David Cronenberg was an absolute delight, a gentleman, really. It's when you meet him, you don't expect the films that he makes to come from him. I just remember liking him very much, which oftentimes with directors just means they don't get in your way too badly. But I remember him being very supportive and encouraging and warm, and he knows how to add suspense, he knows how to build to the climax, he comes up with good story ideas. He's a storyteller, he knows how to do it.
Why did it have to happen like this?
As an actor, I tend to go from the outside in rather than the inside out, and I just thought, what a great story and what an incredible romance, and my interest in telling that story sort of overtook. I didn't really have to substitute people or imagine what that would be like. I wasn't married at the time, and as a married woman, I can tell you that having an affair is just not something I could even imagine doing. I'm just an obedient little wife. But I completely understood that for her, it was just, she'd been madly in love with him, had envisioned spending her whole life with him. Then he had been taken from her and then came back. I just thought, wow, this is heavy romantic stuff, and I loved that. I think people really, the fans that I've had specifically pinpoint Dead Zone as one of their favorite movies. It's always been sort of around that. I think I sort of represent the woman that they, the real romantic figure that we all imagine or something. Dead Zone was for me the nadir of my career, because my career sort of went right off the skids after that. I just think it's a really memorable movie. I don't think it's like any Stephen King movie, and I don't think it's like any David Cronenberg movie, and I just think it had a lot of heart. The romance, the moral, ethical dilemma, the idea of somebody being able to go into a coma and come out with this gift, curse. It's just jam-packed with fun things. And then there was the murder in there too, the sick murder, and yeah, it's got a little bit of everything, I think.